Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're gonna be reading books in the series that I'm in the middle of, and I am currently in so many series. It is honestly quite crazy because I think last night I counted this and I am in the middle of like 20 something series. I don't know the exact number because I forgot, but I'm in the middle of so many series and I feel like I should start finishing them because I keep picking up new books in new series, but I'm not really that good in finishing series for some reason. So, in today's video, we're going to try to read as many books as possible so that we can finish some of the series that I'm in the middle of. But I have my priority reads and I will show you some of the books that I really want to read quite soon. So let me talk about them. This is the pile, and this are some of the books that I really would love to read soon-ish. So let's go and talk about each of them. So I just read Belladonna, I think last year fall, and I really want to read Foxglove because the ending of the first book was very interesting, I want to say, because it introduces a character and I can see this go in like a direction that I wouldn't have never expected Belladonna to go to. But since this new character is teased, let's just say, I am very intrigued in what the role of this character will be in Foxglove. So yeah, I am really excited for Foxglove. I am also debating whether I want to read this in fall again, like whenever I read Belladonna, but I think I want to read this quite soon because I'm missing fall and I really want to just read like fall related books in a way. So yeah, I cannot wait to pick this one up. Second book, I'm sure I've been talking about this series for past few videos now, but it's none other than the Final Empire / Mistborn Era 1 series. And I told you that the Final Empire is probably top 3 books I've ever read in my life ever. So I decided I'm gonna pick up the Well of Ascension very soon. In this video for sure. I am excited in what's gonna happen because the ending of the first book was really, I feel like if the book ends there, it is already quite a good, like, well-rounded ending. Yes, sure, there are so many other questions that we still need to get answers from, but again, I just love the world. I love the magic system and the everything, and even like the characters. The found family that we experience here is so beautiful. I just want to know what's gonna happen next, so I will be picking this up. I don't know if it's gonna be the first book that I'm gonna be picking up, but it'll be one of the first books for sure. And then I have the long-awaited book. Whenever I read the first book, it's by the way Ruthless Vows. Whenever I first read Divine Rivals, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with this book. I need the second book ASAP. And then the second book came out and a lot of people read it instantly. And the reviews were not as good as Divine Rivals. And that kind of intimidated me going into Ruthless Vows because I love the two main characters so much. And I just want the best for them, honestly, because it is heartbreaking how the ending of Divine Rivals was, and I just need some good things happening here. But yeah, with Ruthless Vows, I am contemplating to pick up Divine Rivals first because I feel like I surely forgot some of the things that happened in Divine Rivals, and so I thought I would do Ruthless Vows justice by rereading Divine Rivals, but we shall see if I get to do that. And then moving on, I have the fourth book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, which is The Battle of Scandia. I read the third book, I think last month, if I'm not wrong, or the beginning of this month. No, I think it's last month. And yeah, I just want to continue reading this series. And the ending of that book was also like quite a cliffhanger. All the ending of these books are pretty, like, has some cliffhanger element to it, and I really want to read it, but it just intimidated me a little bit because I'm like, oh, what if I hate how this thing's gonna resolve, and so on, so on. But anyway, I will hopefully be picking up the Battle for Scandia pretty soon. Moving on, this chunk of a book, which is Keeping 13. I think I told you in my last vlog that I picked this book up directly after Binding 13, and I am in the middle of this book. I'm 120 pages into Keeping 13, and I am just very intrigued in what's gonna happen in Keeping 13. So I think this will probably be the first book I'll be picking up this week. I don't know how long this vlog is gonna be, but I think around a week to 2 weeks mark. So yeah, we shall see. But I have enough time to read most of this, but I just want to see what's happening in Keeping 13. And I know there are other books in the Boys of Tommen series, which is Saving 6 and Redeeming 6. Anyway, the last book that I have here is none other than Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is, I think, I don't know if this is a new release, but it got released recently, like not a year ago or so. I read Wild Love last year, and I honestly did not enjoy it as much as the Chestnut Spring series. I know that this is, I think in the first book it's Willa's brother, which is Chestnut Spring book 2, Kate and Willa, and this is Willa's brother, which is Ford. And yeah, Wild Eyes is Weston, I think, which is Ford's best friend, if I'm not wrong. And I know this is like single dad nanny trope, and I'm always down for single dad and nanny trope because they're, I think, honestly one of my favorite tropes. Or I don't know if it's favorite, but I enjoy it for sure. So yeah, those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are 6 books that I just showed you. Obviously, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish all these books in the next a week, 2 weeks, but we can hope. But yeah, I will probably be picking up Keeping 13 first because I have it on my Kindle. The books, they're just so thick in the Boys of Tommen series, so I decided to pick up the Kindle version so I can just lay down in bed and just click away. But yeah, that is pretty much what we will be doing in this video. Other than that, I don't know if I have any other plans for this video, but just to read as many books as possible. I am gonna try my best to just pump through reading all these books. Not that I'm like rushing it, but also it will be nice to have to be in less series because I really want to start other series. But before that, definitely I want to finish up some of the series first. So yeah. Oh, I think with reading all this, if I get to read all this, I will be finishing 2 series, I want to say, because I'll be finishing The Letter of Enchantment, which is Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, if I end up getting to those, and Keeping 13, because I feel like Binding 13 and Keeping 13 is the duology, and Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, it's its own like interconnected series. So I would say we'll be finishing that, but we'll be close to finishing Mistborn Era 1 and Belladonna. Technically with Wild Eyes, when I finish it, I'll be caught up with the series, which I would say it's done. So I hope I get to finish most of these books, and yeah. So without further ado, let's get into reading Keeping 13. So I'm here for an update. I don't know if it's an update that you would like, but the thing is, I know I showed you the amount of books that I want to read in this video, and hopefully I get to read most of them. And the fact that I set up a TBR, that means I want to read it immediately. But guess what? I steered away from the TBR so far that you can even see where I'm going with this. But I finished reading the continuation of the Moral Instrument series, which is the 4th book, and it is City of Fallen Angel. I binge read this today. So I didn't give you any update. I didn't give you any thoughts about this, but I finished it like half an hour ago, so I don't know what to say other than I fully enjoyed it and I rated it 4 stars, I think. But yeah, I just love being in this world, and it's probably partly because, not partly, probably major because of the Infernal Devices series. So I finally finished reading the whole 3 books in that series, and I just had to know more about the Shadowhunter world. And I know that after reading that, it's so connected to, in a way, Mortal Instrument series. Like, you get to see their ancestors in a way, which is from the Infernal Devices series. I don't know how old. Wait, what year are they in? I'm not sure, but I think it's like 1900s or so. But the fact, I don't think it's 1900s, 1700s probably. Anyway, the fact that I see the characters that I just saw in Clockwork Princess in here just, I think, makes this book so much better than it should have been, because it is, honestly, the Mortal Instrument series are just guilty pleasure for me because it's action packed, it's Wattpad-y, and I love Wattpad. And this is like published Wattpad. So I understand why people love it, and I know a lot of people rated this pretty high as well, and I rated it pretty high as well. So yeah, I'm probably gonna pick up the 4th book really soon. But anyway, I don't know how to talk about continuation of a series because I don't want to spoil you guys on what it's about. But pretty much we get to just see our characters do some pretty scary things, and the things that happened to them in previous books are like catching up to them in a way. So I don't know how to talk about it. If you guys want, oh, should I do a spoiler section? I could do a spoiler section. Okay, from now on from now on, for the next few minutes, I will talk spoiler filled. I will talk a little bit of this book as if you guys have read it, as if we are FaceTiming, and as if I just have to rant about this. So yeah, you've been warned. Skip to the timestamp. I will have a timestamp somewhere here, so click to that. The fact that Jace has so many troubles in voicing his struggles annoy me a little bit, which I fully understand that he's having all these emotions because a lot of things happen to him, them, their family. I fully understand. But the fact that he just treated Clary the way he treated Clary just irks me in a way. Like, I am rooting for them 100%. They are end goal. But it's just the fact that he would not communicate with her. And whenever he communicated with her, it's too late. Everything has already happened and you're pissed that you yeah. Another thing that I realized, Cassandra, Claire, please give my friend Simon a break. He has not had a break ever. In the first few books in the series, he was like, he became a rat. He was a human. All of a sudden, he's a vampire, and he's like, he got turned down by Clary. My guy cannot catch a break. And then in this book, he had to suck Sebastian's blood again. He had the mark of Cain, which saved him, but it also, like, in a way, it's very dangerous for him. I mean, I do not agree with him having 2 girlfriends. That was just, no. That was just not good. And the fact that he blamed it like, oh, we never talked about exclusivity. Simon, my guy, honestly, I think he definitely carries the whole like series for me, because I just have a soft spot for Simon because he's gone through a lot. And the fact that he confessed to his mom that he's a vampire, and the mom took it so badly, and that he has to like erase her memory, kind of hurts me. But yeah, the ending of this book kind of worries me a little bit because Sebastian and Jace have like merged into one. I don't know how I feel about that, but I definitely want to pick up this the next book ASAP, which is, I think, City of Lost Souls, if I'm not wrong. It's somewhere up here. I will definitely pick it up very soon. I don't think in this video, but then again, I said us a full TBR, and I'm steering away from the TBR for sure because I am not in the mood to read any of the books there. Anyway, spoiler ends. But yeah, I am honestly very sorry with how I just steered away from the TBR. And I really hope that I can go back to the TBR pretty soon. I am still in the middle of keeping 13 and I'm still reading a lot of pages in one day. I am now, I think previously I was 200 pages in. Now, I think I am 350 pages in. So I read 100 pages more than before. I feel like that was an accomplishment in itself because this book is thick. I want to know what happens in the end, but this book takes so much out of me because of the family problems that Shannon is having. It's just, oh, but also this book is so funny. I love the relationship between Gypsy and Johnny so much, and the fact that they always joke around, or the fact that Gypsy always takes everything not seriously, and the fact Johnny always takes everything seriously, and the fact that they just clash but work at the same time. I really enjoyed it. But my goal is definitely to read more of Keeping 13 very soon. I think I'm gonna stop filming after this, and it's only 10, so I'm gonna get in bed, get cozied up, and read Keeping 13 for like an hour or two, and we shall see how far we get. But I definitely will not be updating you more for like about Keeping 13 unless I'm done. Don't you worry. And if I read books in between, then that's that. But yeah, I don't know if I'm just gonna be reading Keeping 13 because I am just in the mood to start so many books at the same time, which is, I don't think is good. Because I feel like I need to finish Keeping 13. I cannot keep reading like 800 pages book. But then again, I want to start The Well of Ascension pretty soon. And I think Well of Ascension is pretty thick as well. But I think before I jump into Well of Ascension, I will be reading the second book in the Beartown series. So yes, I am steering away from my TBR, but do not fret. I will get into the Well of Ascension and I will try my best to read Ruthless Vows. Honestly, I kind of want to read Divine Rivals because tomorrow is Valentine's Day and I'm just am in the mood for reading some kind of like wholesome love story, wholesome romance. But anyway, that's my long-winded update about me reading City of Fallen Angels and Keeping 13. So yeah, I'm gonna continue reading Keeping 13 and maybe Us Against You, which is the second book in Beartown, and I will update you whenever there is update to be given. So, I know that I'm supposed to be reading Keeping 13, but I still have not continued Keeping 13. Let me show you how far I am. I am definitely still like 50% in. I am like 350 pages in, but I still have not continued Keeping 13. I'm not in the mood to read contemporary romance at the moment, especially because I just found a new favorite like series, I guess. For my 24-hour readathon, I read the Fae Isle series. I read the first book, which is Court of Blood and Bindings, and yeah, so I continued the series. I read Lord of Gold and Glory, and I read Lord of Gold and Glory in one day, and it is a 600-page book that I just binged just like that. And honestly, what can I even say? It's just like the romance between Creon and Emmeline is just insane, and the fact that now we get to know Emmeline's backstory a little bit more, it's so, and how the first book ended just made me so stressed, and I had to read the second book immediately. So I did, and I definitely rated this 4.75. I think the first one is probably 4.5 or 4.75. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think both of them are really, really good, and it's almost there, and I cannot stop thinking about it because It's just so good. Even though I know I'm supposed to be finishing Keeping 13, I just read what City of Fallen Angels, and I read the second book in the Fae Isle series, so Lord of Golden Glory, and I really am trying to finish Keeping 13. I think I will try and finish it this week. But other than that, if you guys have not heard of the Fae Isle series by Lisette Marshall, or like the first book, which is Court of Blood and Bindings, I know a lot of people said it's like, oh, this steamy Fae romance, fantasy, romantasy, whatever. It is steamier than most books I typically read, but it's not like so steamy that it's only that in the book. So yeah, I definitely would recommend you picking it up if you love anything like ACOTAR, like adult romance or adult romantasy. I think you would love this, and if you especially love Fae, I think you would enjoy this. Not a lot of, and then there are also some other characters in here that are not Fae, like humans obviously, and then there are like, I think there are other magical beings here which I really enjoyed. I don't know what I can tell you from the plot really, because it could be a spoiler, but definitely the second book just dealt so much with Creon's background, with Creon's character, and then also at the same time avoiding war, trying to do war tactics, and also building up her training even more, like Emily's training, and also finding out some of her background, figuring out where she comes from, and yeah, I truly enjoyed this, and I really love slow burn romance. And this romance, even though we established the romance in the first one, it's not fully established, and in this one it's more like settled, and we're like, okay. And usually with slow burn romance, the second slow burn is done and they're together, I'm always like so not interested anymore, but for some reason I'm still so intrigued, and I still want to know what happens in the future. So yeah, that is my update so far. I am also gonna read the third book today. Maybe I'll focus on reading Keeping 13, but I think I want to read the third book first. So yeah, I think that will be the plan. But other than that, I've got no other updates for you. That's pretty much the update, and hopefully the next update you'll be seeing is me talking about Keeping 13. And yeah, let's continue reading more books. So, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit sick, but I am finally here to give you an update on Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. So, I've been sick for quite a bit, and all I've been doing is honestly just reading, and I read this. And honestly, I love the Boys of Tom series, and I really just cannot wait to pick up. I think the next book is called Saving Six, if I'm not wrong, and it's Joey's book. Whew, I am honestly very excited. But this book, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but I love how the ending is so just beautiful for our main characters, especially for Shannon and her family, and especially with all the things they've gone through. They definitely deserve this. So I really honestly just glad for the Kavanaugh family, especially the mom and the dad, how they just like, obviously Johnny did a lot of things with like Shannon, but especially the mom, with the compassion that she has with all the kids. I'm just so obsessed and so like beyond in love with with this world, and I just cannot wait. I think like I'm very excited with Gipsy's book, which I know is like, I don't know what it's called. Is it Redeeming 7? I know his book is out, and I know before I get to his book, I have two books that are Joey's, if I'm not wrong, and I definitely want to pick that up pretty soon. And I hope, by the way, I don't sound too nasally, because, yeah, I have a blocked nose, so it is quite difficult to talk. But I'm just here to tell you that I have read Keeping 13 finally, and I also have another update. because I also finished another book in the series, which is the Court of Blood and Binding series, which is called Fae Isle series. And I finished the third book in that series. I'm currently reading the fourth, but I think I'm going to keep that to a different reading vlog because I'm going through this book like there is no tomorrow. But the third book is called Ruins of Sea and Soul. I know I sounded so nasally just now, but honestly, this third book is probably my least favorite so far because it's so annoying how stubborn some of the characters are. And literally, all they need to do is talk it out, and then we won't have this tension that we've been having for the whole book. So it is just like triggering me a little bit. Oh my gosh, my voice. But yeah, that is pretty much what I've read so far. And I don't know what else I can really talk to you about Ruins of Sea and Soul, but we discovered big things. And the ending, oh my gosh, how did I stop? How did I almost end it like that? But the ending of Ruins of Sea and Souls just honestly killed me, and it made me read the first 10% of the fourth book immediately after, and it was like midnight and probably not helping with my sickness, but whew, honestly, read it. I think you will enjoy it. But I don't know if I talked to you what Court of Blood and Binding is about, but it's pretty similar to Akatar, like vibes wise in the way, but it's like a little bit more darker romance, and it's a little bit more like tortured main character like Creon for sure. But before I end this, I think I'm just gonna also do the outro now because I'm running out of reading books that I'm currently in the middle of because I just keep reading uh Fae Isles. But I will show you my reading journal. I will take a little break so that I don't sound too nasally, and then I will give you the outro in a little bit. So guys, I think I do sound a little bit better. I definitely drank a lot of tea, and in the meantime, I definitely did my reading journal. It's nothing crazy. It's just me catching up with 2 months of abandoned. If you guys can hear the rain outside, it's honestly quite a vibe. It is very dark outside right now. That's why it looks very gloomy. I'm seeing myself in the viewfinder and it's very gloomy. But either way, yeah, I decided to update my reading journal because I've neglected it for like 2 months. And honestly, I'm so happy that I caught up because it just looks so good. I still have to do a little bit of journaling, but I just will do that off screen, obviously, because you guys don't need to see what nonsense I write in my journal. But yeah, I'm happy with that. But before we end this, let me just talk through all the books that I read, if I can still remember what I've read. But obviously, I went astray from the TBR that I set in the beginning of the video. But because I think the beginning of the video was actually like 2 weeks ago, and this is like a while after that. So I don't really remember what I've read so far, but obviously the biggest thing that I remember is none other than Keeping 13. And I would probably rate this 4.75 to 5 stars. I think it's still too fresh. I just finished this like yesterday. I mean, I also finished another book yesterday, but it's just still too fresh in my mind for me to be able to say anything. But I think it's definitely either 4.75 or 5. It's difficult. It's not an instant 5 stars for me, but the characters that are in these books, like in these books and the series, it's just like it's overall a 5-star series for me. And yeah, I'm just so excited to see Joey's books, and I don't know when I'm gonna start that, but probably not anytime soon because her books are so long and so thick, and sometimes I'm so intimidated by them, even though they read so fast in a way. But yeah, so that's like Keeping 13. Really good. And I finished City of Fallen Angels, which is, I read that quite a while back and I finished it quite fast as well. And I would say, I have the copy somewhere, but I don't think I will pick it up now. I would say it's probably, honestly, 3.5 and 4 because I just hate the miscommunication trope, and Jace is so good at that, and Clary, being so stubborn as well, just does not want to approach him even though she knows something is wrong. So that kind of annoys me a little bit as well. But I think overall it is probably like the ending of the book is quite a turning point for Jace, for something bigger, and I'm quite nervous in what that something bigger is, and hopefully it's nothing bad. But I'm gonna pick up City of Lost Souls, I think, very soon. But it's just gonna be in a reading vlog. I don't think I'm gonna do this continuing reading books in the series that I'm currently in the middle of. I don't think I'm gonna do that or like do a part 2 to that anytime soon because I am just currently in the mood to mood read, and I want to start so many series. I don't know. I'm just craving new series. So that's that. But I think I'm gonna, like, again, I'm gonna rate it 3.5 stars, and it's good, but it's nothing crazy. And I think it's a good, I think Jace and Clary, I don't know, like the characters that made me continue reading the City of Bones series. I just really want to get into the last hour series, which it will probably take a while until I'm there. But also the other character that I'm really just obsessed with and I just really want to continue reading about them is Simon, because he just gone through so much and I need to see where he's gonna end up in the end. That's why. So yeah, that's that. And then the third book I think that I finished is the second book in the Fae Isle series, which is Lord of Gold and Glory. And that book was so good. It's as good as the first one, maybe slightly better. I really like it when they're like misunderstood. Misunderstanding in general is not a trope that I like, but the fact that Creon is so misunderstood, and the fact that Creon is like dark and evil, but I mean, he's not evil, but like dark and evil looking. But meanwhile, when he's with Emmeline, he's just so different, and I really like seeing that side of him. And also, like, plot wise, I really enjoy that we get to know Emmeline's background a little bit more, and also getting to know the Alliance a little bit more. I really enjoy that as well. And with Ruins of Sea and Soul, we, before I give the rating for both of them, I'm just gonna continue to the third book. And for Ruins of Sea and Souls, it's just like, it's a good book, it's a good plot. Not a lot of like romance between Creon and Emmeline, but it's not necessary really because their romance are like quite established. Oh, I think in a way we got like into a rocky position with their relationship, but overall it's like it's needed. I'm sorry if progressively you can tell that my nose is like redder and redder because I've been blowing my nose throughout all these clips. But yeah, like the plot that we have on the third book is so good, and it's such a like quite a massive turning point for Creon, for Emmeline, and for the whole like alliance as well, because of something that happened to Emmeline and technically to Creon as well. But I think something that happened to Creon is at the very end. So I need to see what happened in the fourth book to be able to say whether it's actually a turning point or not. But obviously it's like a massive change for Creon. So that's that. And I think third book is definitely necessary, but it's just so annoying because the misunderstanding, the misunderstood trope thing, it's not even between like our love interests or like our like two main characters, which is Creon and Emmeline, but it's also like with the second main characters, if you know what I mean. It's between Tared and Emmeline, and I hated that because it's just like they're so stubborn, and they could have just like talked about it and it'll be honestly completely fine, and they could have just like outed with each other. But even towards the end of that book, that's like problem is still not resolved, and I read the first 10% of the fourth book and then it got resolved. So it's like it's annoying me a little bit because they're just like, mainly from Tarot's side, because he's so much older, he's like centuries old, and meanwhile Emmeline is like 20 years old, and but he still just like treated her as if she's a baby, even though she's obviously not. So yeah, that kind of annoys me a little bit. But all in all, I think the second book is for sure 4.75 stars. It's so close to being a 5 stars, but sadly it's not. But the third one, I would say it's a 4 stars. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All the books that I read in this video. So I think I read in total 5 books. But yeah, so that pretty much it. All the 5 books that I read. And I think honestly I made a lot of progress in continuing some of the series that I'm currently in the middle of. Even though I'm still currently in the middle of so many series, I probably would like to make a video someday talking about all the series that I'm currently in the middle of, because I definitely have more than 10. And I feel like 10 is definitely too much. So I want to be a little bit more mindful with starting series. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and comment down below what series you're currently in the middle of and what are you going to continue, or whether you're going to start a new one. And yeah, just let me know down below, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.